You are 21 years old, and first of all, everybody's watching. Like, give a digital round of applause for his brother for doing such great work at 21. I think that everybody's impressed with that. And you live in Albany, Georgia, and you decided to start a school, and that's been a big conversation in the Black community for a lot of years because you got a lot of people starting schools, some more successful than others. Tell us about that, and how did you even get to the point that you're at right now?
Absolutely. Well, I started this organization 2 years ago when I was 19 years old. And the reason I started this organization was because where I live here in Albany, Georgia, crime rate's very high amongst children, well, young men ages 17 to 25. The murder rate, at one point, we had the highest murder rate in the country per capita. We're a 77% Black city. And this is also a city that Dr. King failed in. He came here, went to jail, and said he'd never go back. And we have a lot of issues here in our city. And I definitely wanted to tackle those issues while I was here. And I'd go to different community meetings and things like that. And nobody really wanted to get on the ground and do like the work that I wanted to do. So I decided that I was going to start a program called the X for Boys. We started doing field trips. I started taking young men on field trips, and we went to Atlanta, Montgomery. I mean, we've been to like any Black history museum in the Southeast you could think of. So we went to all the museums. Then I started doing workshops, teaching young men how to change oil, how to change brakes. We did automotive repair, home improvement. I taught them how to change ceiling fans, toilets, flooring, sheetrock, you name it. So I started doing these things, and during the summertime of 2019, I lost my job. And at that time, I think that was God trying to let me know you need to go ahead and do what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So I started a summer camp during that summer. Now, mind you, I was broke. I ain't had no money. I had my own house and stuff, but I was broke at the time. And but I was just like, I'm gonna make a flyer and I'm gonna tell parents, what I'm offering for the summer. And if they believe in me, then they'll bring their children. So I told them everything that I'd be offering. And every day, I'm so grateful to those parents who believed in this 19-year-old kid to drop their child off every day at my house from 8 to 5 to learn all of these things. So we did reading. I taught them how to change toilets, changing ceiling fans. I mean, we did some of everything. I taught them how to garden. We grew our own food. We did field trips. These are things we did for that summertime. But while I was in that summer program, I realized a lot of our children couldn't read. And about maybe 12 out of the 20 children that I had couldn't read. And I had one kid that's in the 6th grade. He couldn't read at all. And that was an issue for me. And I'm just like, how are these children passing through school and they can't read? How are you expecting them to, get good grades and graduate and be something and be somebody, and they aren't even literate? This is an issue for me. So I started a book club, and I started teaching the children how to read in the book club. We started doing, life lessons and life skills in the book club. We had some men from around our community come and visit the book club. Then I started working with juvenile court. And I started taking children from the juvenile justice system, keeping them in my home. I actually have custody of 2 of those children now. And our program has a 0% recidivism rate. Every child that's come to my program from jail has never been back. And we don't have any rehabilitative programs for juveniles coming from jail here where I live in Albany, Georgia. So that's a problem for me. So fast forward to 2020, COVID happened. And so I had to kind of pause everything that happened, that was happening for our program. I had to pause book club, pause our bowling team, pause everything we had going on because I didn't know what's going on. But when the summertime was rolling around, parents were just like, can you please do something for the kids? And I was just like, well, if I do something for the boys, they got to come live with me. And they was like, okay. So I went and bought some bunk beds. I put them in my living room and we made it happen. And at the time, I didn't have the most fun. So we was eating hot and ready pizzas, beanies and weenies, noodles and sandwiches. But I was still teaching. I was still teaching them during that summer. And we built so many bonds. I mean, we done got caught on the side of the road with no spare tire and all that. I mean, we had so many stories, but I was just dedicated to, teaching them, and they loved me to death, for everything that I taught. So during that summertime, I posted one tweet on Twitter because people were telling me I should start posting what we were doing because I wasn't posting like that. And I posted us doing some sheetrock at an apartment complex, and it went viral on Twitter. And so many people, reached out to me and, were seeing what we were doing. This was back last summer, and we maybe raised about $10,000 in a week for what we were trying to do. And I had been telling the boys for the past 2 years, I was like, look, I'm gonna open you guys a school. We're gonna open us up a school, and we're gonna get you guys taught the things you need to know, etc. I was like, I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna have some big boy faith and we're gonna make it happen. So that happened. We got invited to the White House. We got chastised a little bit for that because Donald Trump invited us, of course, but he didn't post no pictures with us, didn't try to use us as no pawns or anything, but people were upset about that. But I was telling them, I'm like, these kids who never been anywhere, who never been on any trips, never been on a plane, never really been outside of our city, come from jail, have these records and stuff, and for them to get invited to the White House for the work that they're doing, that's a huge honor, regardless of who's there. So if it was Joe Biden, nobody wouldn't be mad. So why is it an issue? And I don't believe none of the presidents care about anybody. So that's where I stood with that. So we got invited to the White House, and I mean, just the support has become overwhelming for us, and our support base is so diverse. Like I'm talking about, we have white conservatives all the way down to people in the Nation of Islam. I mean, the Hebrew Israelites to super white Trump supporters, whatever. People support what we're trying to do because the message is universal for doing for self. And that's what I teach my boys. We teach them how to be men. We're teaching them how to protect their women and children. These are the things that I believe, are important for our boys, and they're not learning anymore. And so many people ask, how are you able to change so many kids? Like the parents are just like, how are you able to affect them, so well? And how are you able to, have them come home and not talk back, etc. But when I did some time in the military, And then also I'm consistent with my discipline. I don't let up. They all get in trouble together. They sleep together. They eat together. They do everything together. And I do that to create a brotherhood for them because we have this individualism in our community where we never want to work with each other. So I always let them get in trouble together. Even if, one of them's talking back, I make everybody get in trouble. Well, you already know you should have told your brother not to be talking back. He wasn't supposed to be eating after a certain time at night, but y'all let him do it anyway. So everybody go outside. Everybody about to get the high knees and 6 inches. Everybody about to get it. Because I always tell them if one of y'all got weed in the car, everybody got weed in the car. So I'm just like, yeah. So I make sure everybody get in trouble. But it's just been a beautiful journey, man. And yesterday, you kind of sparked it off. I went on Mr. Roland Martin show, and I was a big fan of his, but he started attacking me on Twitter for absolutely no reason. I had no clue why he was attacking me, but he had tagged me and a friend of mine called me a Republican. I was like, I'm not a Republican. And he was talking about voter suppression. And I was just like, that's not my fight. I told him that on Twitter, but he was like, well, y'all come on the show. But my friend couldn't come on the show because he's Byron Donald's press secretary. And he couldn't come on the show. So I went and I was just like, well, I'm gonna just go in there and talk about my program and tell him what I am fighting for. And he was like, well, what is your fight and all that? Well, I was like, well, this is what I'm doing. And this is what I believe in. So how are you going to tell me that not, relying on government is not going to work when I'm doing it, and we're doing it, so I try to keep it civil. I kept it respectful. And, I did invite him to come speak to my children afterwards, but the slick stuff he was saying on Twitter and the little backhanded stuff he was saying afterwards, and his little panel got on there and said their little stuff about me. I kind of was just like, I'm not even finna do this with you, man. I tried to keep it respectful, regardless of him calling me names on Twitter and stuff. I just let him have it. But then you shared a video yesterday on YouTube, and you kind of did your little podcast, and it kind of made a lot of rounds. And right now my social media is going bananas. I got like 16,000 followers on Instagram in a night, and like so many people are like reaching out all because of the video you did. So I definitely appreciate you. But yes, the support's been overwhelming. And we went building shopping. I went and asked our school system, did they have any old buildings that they weren't using anymore? And they were like, well, we got 3 buildings up for demolition. And I went and toured one of them, and it's on the side of town where our children need us the most. Well, it's where the most children I serve. And the children actually need us over there. And I went and toured it, and the building's in great condition. I was just like, why are y'all tearing this down? But it's 36,000 square feet, 25 classrooms. I made an offer, and boom, we made it happen. And then I went and bought a school bus right after that, so I just, again, big boy faith and believing in what we want to do. And I just want to show young black men, you can go do whatever it is that you want to do. And if somebody's holding you down, it's because you're allowing them to. You got to deal, play with the cards you got dealt and keep it moving. But that's kind of an idea of where, where we are and who I am.
Wow. Everybody who's watching, in case you don't know, I'm speaking with King Randall, and King Randall is the founder of the school is going to be called I can't read them all right. The Life Preparatory School for Boys, right? Did I get it right?
Yes, sir. You got it right.
He's got in Albany, Georgia. And as y'all can tell, y'all can see, give me a yes or no in the chat if you can see why I'm impressed with him. You don't see a lot of 21-year-olds that are able to lay it down like that. And when I saw it, I was immediately sparked to say, okay, what can I do to help? And so I want to ask everybody to do a couple things. One, because we're building Black media, if you could hit the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe to whatever channel you're on, that helps us to grow the platform. But then 2, the URL for his school to make a donation is right there on the screen, thexforboys.org, right? Did I get that right, brother?
Yes, sir. That's perfect.
Thexforboys.org. And I just went to the link right before the interview. I went to the link. I gave 3,000. I'm gonna give more. That's just the beginning. I'm going to be in this with you for the long haul. I don't just want to talk about how great your work is, but I want to actually put my money where my mouth is. And I hope everybody, whatever you can afford to do to support this, I hope that you'll do this because this is what we need. Do for self. And maybe it's my bias, but I just, I was raised by a father who was in the military. And one of the things, and I have a lot of people, shout yourselves out, by the way, if you did serve in the military, thank you for your service.
Semper Fi, go Marines.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, because I love my military people that are part of this crew, because those are part of